Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, it's National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day, and we have a 25 News Now Extra. El Paso plans to build a new migrant shelter, hoping to ease the migrant overflow there. And U.S. Customs officers find 24 packages of cocaine on a bus near McAllen.
Well, it's Tropical Depression number 9. That's what we're calling it right now, and it's coming ashore. It looks like we're going to be missing it, the main event, as it goes a little bit farther south. We do have tropical storm warnings up for most areas. Victoria is not included, but we're hoping to get some rain. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And football is back, and we have the top games going on in the area in sports. Join us back here for all that and more at sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia is off tonight. ERCOT issued a weather watch Monday that starts on Wednesday and runs through next Sunday. The weather watch called due to forecasted higher temperatures, higher electrical demand, and the potential for lower reserves. Grid conditions expected to be normal during a weather watch. There's currently enough capacity to meet forecasted demand. ERCOT set a new all-weekend peak demand record yesterday. This summer, ERCOT set 10 new all-time peak demand records. The National Weather Service issues an excessive heat warning for one area county, Lavaca County, under an excessive heat warning until 9 o'clock tonight. The National Weather Service says temperatures up to 107 degrees are expected. The National Weather Service issues red flag warnings for 3 area counties. DeWitt, Lavaca, and Wharton counties under red flag warnings until 9 o'clock tonight. The National Weather Service says winds could gust up to 20 miles an hour with humidity as low as 24%. 2 area fire departments fighting a large brush and wildfire on FM 2437 at the Lavaca, Colorado County line south of Sheridan. Authorities say about 25 to 30 acres have burned in heavy brush. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. And Mac, with all of those heat warnings and fire danger warnings and all of that, we have some other warnings in the Crossroads, totally different ones.
Yes, something we haven't had in quite some time, a possibility of a tropical storm conditions. Now, here we are in Victoria. You see it right there. Tropical storm warnings are up for the coast and from Beeville southward. All of this because of Tropical Depression number 9, which is right about here. If you extend this line, it looks like most of the activity will be coming in near Baffin Bay, but we should be getting rain after midnight and certainly for tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. Today is National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day. Some experts anticipate the issue will get worse before it gets better. 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel takes a closer look into this deadly drug in a 25 News Now Extra.
According to the CDC, 107,375 people in the United States died of drug overdose and drug poisonings in the 12-month period ending in January 2022. Of those deaths, 67% involve synthetic opioids like fentanyl, which is mixed in with other drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. Oftentimes, users are unaware they're even taking fentanyl, hence it's a drug poisoning even though they overdosed. Justin Reed is the Assistant Chief EMS for the Cy-Fair Fire Department, an unincorporated community in northwest Houston, so he sees fentanyl firsthand.
How bad is fentanyl? Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute epidemic that's just hiding in plain sight.
The issue of fentanyl is a relatively new issue coming to the surface in just the last decade.
In 10 years of my career, I never saw a heroin overdose, much less a fentanyl overdose, not one time in 10 years. Since 2013, I mean, it's every day, right? There's not a single day that goes by that my staff, our team, we don't respond to an opiate overdose, and specifically now fentanyl.
So from none 10 years ago to his department now seeing over 1,000 fentanyl overdoses annually, a dramatic change highlighting how pervasive this deadly drug is all over the country. Wendell Campbell is an agent with Houston High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area and is in the fight against fentanyl.
We've never dealt with an issue this big before. I mean, this is monumental what we're dealing with. Over 100,000 deaths in the last 2 years, back-to-back years.
Even for the law enforcement side, fentanyl has changed things, with agencies like HIDTA and the DEA working to educate the public and fight fentanyl.
The reality is, I think, for our nation and for the state of Texas and every community across the state of Texas, is that fentanyl has changed everything.
So understand that fentanyl can be deadly in a very small dose, only 2 milligrams, enough to fit on the tip of this pencil. And oftentimes it's mixed in with other illicit drugs because of how cheap and profitable fentanyl is. Narcan can reverse an opioid overdose like fentanyl and is one of the few life-saving measures.
So Narcan is an opiate antagonist, and so what it does is it actually binds with the receptor to block and prevent the opiate from doing its thing without all the side effects. And so Narcan will reverse the opiate, the heroin, the fentanyl. It'll reverse the effect of the medication, which the effect of the medication is to put somebody to sleep, but really it stops their breathing.
Seeing fentanyl firsthand, Reed says it's only getting worse.
If we collectively, as you know, as Americans, as a society, don't do something to acknowledge that this is an issue, we're killing people every single day because we want to deny that there's a problem, and the reality is it's only getting worse.
So for this National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day, understand the dangers and extremely high risk of death when dealing with illicit fentanyl. Adam Seibel, KAVU-TV 25 News Now.
And here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Do you believe enough is being done to address the fentanyl crisis? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. 10% of the voters say yes, 90% say no. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Texas has started to reposition a controversial floating barrier closer to the southern border. New court documents filed by the Justice Department report excavators and workers were seen moving a concrete anchor in the Rio Grande. This comes days after a separate court filing claimed 80% of the border buoys were in Mexican territory. Texas put in the buoys in June. The Justice Department sued last month, an injunction hearing set for Tuesday. El Paso plans to build a new shelter for migrants. Sacred Heart Church there has provided shelter for migrants for months, but once again, it's getting full, and some migrants have had to stay on the streets.
Local leaders want to prepare for future migrant surges with a new shelter. But a new law does not allow cities to shelter migrants in previously closed schools or open schools, something the city of El Paso used to do.
We have hotels available, but we don't have the schools available any longer, so we really need to be prepared. The numbers...
El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser mentioned this idea of a new shelter last Monday during a city council meeting. The city is now considering a new facility to host both migrants and animal services. The main goal will be to help migrants' mental health. Asylum seekers, especially kids, will be allowed to play with the animals.
And we'll have a play area, we'll have a walk area, we'll have an area that really will help, again, our asylum seekers, but also our four-legged friends.
The city is working with EPISD to acquire a new school building for this new shelter. Mayor Leeser also told me they want to be prepared for the unknown and to not have a temporary facility like the schools the city used. They would like to have a space as a long-term solution.
Well, when we saw that we could no longer use the schools for sheltering, we said we need to see how we can do that, how we can really make sure we maximize taxpayers' dollars.
Officials have been in talks with the federal government to fund this shelter.
So we've been talking to FEMA, we've been talking to Secretary Mayorkas,
Governor Greg Abbott hosted several GOP governors at the border along the Rio Grande Monday. Governor Abbott was joined by governors from Nebraska, Oklahoma, and South Dakota to discuss their joint efforts to support Operation Lone Star. Abbott and May sent letters to governors across the U.S. requesting support for Texas' border security mission following President Biden's decision to end Title 42.
Let me tell you, Iowa is located at the intersection of two major interstates, and it is a pathway for the Mexican cartel and for human traffickers to go from Mexico to the Midwest.
The Republican governors were united in their harsh criticism of the Biden administration's immigration policy. U.S. Customs officers in the valley found nearly 24 packages of cocaine on a commercial bus earlier this month. The bus entered the Roma International Bridge about 50 miles northwest of McAllen. Officers conducted a canine and non-intrusive inspection and found 22 packages totaling almost 50 pounds of cocaine. CBP says that amount has a street value of more than $380,000. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you'll see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6. After the death of a postal worker, San Antonio postal employees demand better working conditions. Also ahead, electric vehicle drivers in Texas will see a $200 tax bill. Under new state law, Texas will bill electric vehicle drivers an extra $200 a year. The Texas Tribune reports the new registration fee meant to make up for the state's lost revenue from gasoline taxes that are used to pay for road construction and maintenance. The new tax starts September 1st. Especially high for those who buy a new electric vehicle and have to pay 2 years of registration or $400 up front. A fertilizer plant in Williamson County destroyed in a fire that burned overnight Sunday into early Monday morning. Authorities say no one was hurt in a fire at the American Plant Food Corporation in Bartlett. People within a quarter-mile of the plant were evacuated. Grass around the perimeter of the plant also burned. The fire grew to around 6 acres at one point. San Antonio postal workers and supporters rallied on Sunday for better working conditions. A Texas postal worker died earlier this summer due to heat problems.
A fight for safety.
It's hotter than firecrackers down here.
Homer Hernandez says he and his fellow mail carriers want relief.
We work about 8 to 10 hours out in the heat.
Earlier this month, Hernandez told us about how hard it was to hydrate.
They actually, on my station, Adobe Station off of East Houston, we don't have a water fountain working.
Lawmakers sent the Postmaster General a letter asking for them to provide mail carriers with cold water. Since then, Hernandez says his station made some changes.
It took 2 years to apply because of you guys, the congressmen and the mayor speaking out on our behalf. It took 2 days to fix that.
Now he and his fellow union members are fighting for others.
I would like to see every letter carrier in the surrounding area and San Antonio to get bottled water like yesterday.
San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg showed his support.
They have a voice and we listen to them, and when we can elevate and amplify their voice, we're going to do that.
Bob Como, a community leader standing with the postal workers, says this problem has a simple fix.
This is a very simple solution, provide water.
Hernandez says getting water bottles is just a start.
So we need the Macy trucks. That would really help us out. Bags of ice would help us out to keep our water cool out there.
In a statement sent to KSAT today, the Postal Service said they respect unions, but call its position, quote, inaccurate and largely absent of anything based in reality. They say they made those water fountain improvements and that, quote, carriers and all employees have full access to potable water at all times.
And near Houston, 16 people taken to the hospital with heat-related illnesses during a Snoop Dogg concert. It happened on Saturday in the Woodlands. As you can see, the venue is outdoors and temperatures were in the triple digits. Officials with Montgomery County Hospital say a total of 35 people were treated by medical professionals. All of those who were treated are reported to be in stable condition.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, we are getting the cloud cover. We haven't seen that in a while. We did manage to get up to 100 degrees this afternoon. We're 94 right about now, but when does the rain arrive and how much will it be? Those are the big questions. We'll be talking about that coming up after this break. Welcome back, everybody. Obviously, the clouds are the leading edge of what could be, what we expect to be, Tropical Depression number 9. Doesn't have a name yet, but that's possible. We do have a QR code since everybody's, rather a weather poll code, since everybody's excited about how much rain we're going to get. So I asked, well, why don't you forecast the amount of rain? Most of you are thinking less than 1/4 of an inch. Nah. 20, quarter to maybe a half. Yes, that's leading right now. And a half to maybe 1 whole inch. Well, that would be great, wouldn't it? But it looks like everybody expects to get us a little bit of rain. Well, let's go to your temperatures. As I mentioned, it's 94 right about now. Your high temperature did get up to 101 right there right after lunchtime. So we did have a hot day, another triple-digit day. But of course, the big story is the tropical system out in the Gulf. Now, the waters, our waters, and many of our counties south of us. Now, here's Victoria. There would be Refugio County, and down there, and then south. They're under the tropical storm warning because it looks like number 9 is going to go just south of us, coming into Baffin Bay. So, are we still going to get rain? I do think so, as a matter of fact, and we're going to take a look at Future Tracker. We start off with the low out there. The winds, of course, are up to 35 miles an hour. It may strengthen up to tropical storm strength for about a couple of hours tonight before it actually hits land. It's possible this could become, what's the name of this? Harold, yes, Harold. It might be Harold. But right now we're calling it TD number 9. As you can see, by midnight it'll be off the coast, and then tomorrow morning it comes ashore. At this time it looks like the heaviest stuff will be south of Corpus Christi, but we are still going to be getting some even after midnight shower activity on and off during the night. It is not a huge problem, but all of this rain is going to be much needed and a blessing. Of course, the heaviest activity looks like it'll be in, of course, the Nueces and the Frio rivers. In addition to that, we have all this yellow area. This is where we expect winds of up to 35 to maybe 39 miles an hour. So it's going to be breezy south of us, basically Corpus Christi to Brownsville. And of course, the heaviest rainfall right now, following the path, will be Baffin Bay all the way to Laredo. But still, we're not out of it completely. We're hoping that we'll get some much needed rainfall around here. And everybody was probably busy this weekend watching the hurricane earthquake in California. Well, all of a sudden the Atlantic woke up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 tropical systems in development. None of these actually moving in our direction. Only number 9 that we got to watch very carefully for the next couple of hours, or for the next 24 hours. So take a look at your forecast for Port Lavaca. 84 tonight, but only 90 tomorrow with the cloud cover and the rain. What time's the rain? I believe by morning. And then for Cuero, we're getting up to only 91 degrees. Oh my gosh, it's almost cold with the scattered shower activity on and off all day. Good news, bad news. Tomorrow's an alert day. Tomorrow's the best day for rain. And then it decreases by Wednesday, and then we're back to hot and steamy as we get to the coming weekend, with only a few isolated showers possible in the afternoon. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Don.
Mac, thank you. Here's Sports Director Gino Perez. What is this big sport coming up this week, Gino?
Yeah, it's something about high school football, which is less than a week away. That's coming up after the break. Howdy Crossroads, the Texas high school football season starts Friday, and the game of the week is featuring two area birds, the El Campo Rice Birds and the Cuero Gobblers. This game is important for multiple reasons. For one, it's because it's between two Crossroads teams that are ranked in the top 15. El Campo comes in at number 12 and Cuero at number 4 in the state. Another reason why this is important because the head coach for the Rice Birds, Travis Reeve, led the Cuero Gobblers to a state championship in 2018, and he's coming home. He is hoping to do the same for the Red and White since they have never won a state title. These two teams met in the season opener last year, with Cuero's defense coming up big, holding El Campo and its 5-star running back to just 14 points. It is also was a coming out party for the quarterback Mason Notaro for Cuero, as he scored 2 touchdowns through the air and 1 on the ground, and totaling over 100 yards rushing. The two will battle at Gobbler Stadium Friday night at 7:30. And Cuero head coach Jared Feacock is coming into his second year as the leader of the Gobblers and coming off a state semifinal berth. But he knows that is not enough for the area he's in.
Being that the state championship is the expectation around here, doesn't shy anybody away. I think we go to work every single day. Is that a goal? 100%, that's the goal. We're going to continue to get after it and try to be as good as we can be every single day. And you know, we're going to get to the top of that mountain as we continue to do those things.
This will be the first of many games of the week that we will have this season. Next, here are the best of the rest, featuring area football teams across the Crossroads. In the Kolache Bowl, the number 9 ranked Shiner Comanches host the Hallettsville Brahmas. Shiner was upset last season by Hallettsville with a score of 14-7. The Brahmas are going to have its quarterback back, Jorian Wilson, under center after he was out most of the year with a leg injury. Another big matchup is between two top 10 teams in the state in the Refugio Bobcats and Hitchcock Bulldogs. Refugio lost to Hitchcock, beat the young Refugio Bobcats team last year in the season opener in convincing fashion, 49-12. But Refugio is a year older and looking to start the year off with a message. Although these teams are not ranked, these two area teams left it all on the field last season as Industrial got the better of the two, 25-20. Yoakum is the dark horse this season as it has a new 6'3" quarterback from Del Rio looking to lead the Bulldogs to the promised land. The Cowboys have a tough schedule to begin their year as they kick off what they hope to be their year and get their first title in school history. The road to those goals begin against number 25 East Bernard. Tough non-district game that will have Edna a good measuring stick to where they stand early on in the year. And another game that is interesting is the Victoria Gators as they are taking on Brooks Academy Bears in its six-man debut. The game will be Thursday night in San Antonio. If you haven't seen a 6-man game before, you should. It's high scoring and filled with excitement. Well, that's your sports. Don, back to you.
All right, Gino, thank you. We're back in a moment. A delivery man in Nebraska found something totally unexpected and slithering at a customer's front porch. Finally tonight, it was a delivery just like any other day in Nebraska. Little did driver Matt Govier know he was about to make a startling discovery. We have the Ring camera footage showing the 36-inch prairie rattlesnake slither its way onto the porch of Christy Jones's home. Once Matt, quote, took care of the snake, unquote. Using tools from the nearby garage, he cleaned up the mess and even took away the snake's body. Well, thank you, man. He then left a text message for the homeowner. Dear homeowner, we had a little problem today. It was a snake, and yeah. All right, there's the kid. There's Matt saying, what should I do with this snake? Step on it? No. It'll probably bite me.
What? It's on the sidewalk?
I was going to say, I don't think you realized where it was.
I don't think I would have left the package.
I don't know.
What kind of snake was it, Don?
It was a 36-inch prairie rattlesnake.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that could have been deadly.
Yeah, that could have been not so fun.
I got your package, lady, but it's on the sidewalk. Okay.
Now we have situations coming up here. How severe for the crossroads?
Well, I'm not going to say severe. I'm just saying, yeah, a little thunder, a little lightning would be great. You can see right there, Don, you see that where that yellow is?
Yes.
First band of showers just about to roll into the Palacios area.
Wow.
And with a little luck, you know, Port Lavaca and then eventually us will start seeing some shower activity around here. We're not on the big end of this. The majority of the rain will be down south toward Baffin Bay, south of Corpus Christi. But with a little rain, it could be nice. And tomorrow's temperature will not be 100 degrees. How about that?
All right, very good.
First time this month, right?
That's right. One day out of the month.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.